Hi everyone, my name is Mary and this is Queen. Thank you so much for joining me in this wonderful video. Today I am going to crochet this bag for you. Now we're going to do this in a parts series, so I'm thinking it's either going to be about 3, maybe 4 parts. We'll have to see. But right now what we're going to be making is we're going to be making the body of the bag, as you can see right here. Then I'm going to show you how to do the border of the bag, and I'm going to show you how to crochet this flap right here. And these are where your button is going to be. This is where your button's going to come out. Now you're going to see in the video a different button. I actually lost that pretty, I think it's kind of like a brownish gray button. So I had to find a new button, and this one is it. It's a pink one. So this pink one is now actually going to be on the bag. And I'm really sorry that I lost it. I don't know where it ran off to, but now you're going to be seeing this pink one instead of that bigger button that was kind of like a brownish one. And it was kind of pretty too. So this is going to be part 1 of our Halloween series. This is going to be called Trick or Boo Crochet Bag. And what I mean by that is because we're going to put this little ghost on the bag. And where I'm thinking we're going to put it is going to be on the back of the bag like this. So that's where your ghost is going to go, like that. And I'm going to show you how to sew your ghost onto your bag. Now if you want to, you can also put him on the front of your bag like this, but I think he's going to kind of go over the flap just like this. And if you're okay with that, then that is another thing that you can do as well. So he can either go on the back or he can go on the flap. I am still deciding on where I want my little ghost to go. But in this portion right now, we're just going to focus on the body of the bag. We're going to focus on the border and the flap. So let's get started on which tools you will need in order to start this. So the tools that you're going to need for this crochet Halloween bag are right in front of me. Now these are some of the tools, they're not all of them, so I'm going to go over them. So the first one is you're going to need a pair of scissors to cut off your strings. Make sure they're sharp. You're also going to need some stitch markers. So I have this little stitch marker, and you can also use some yarn as well. This is so you can count your rows to figure out where you're going to put your button on your baggie. The next pair you're going to need is 2 needles. The first one is going to be a darning needle or a yarn needle, and this one is so you can sew in all your strings. The next needle you'll need is a beaded needle. And the reason why is because we are going to bead up the side of our baggie. And so you're going to need a needle for the beads that I have in the back here. And these are going to be called beaded treasures. They're 3.5 millimeter glass cube beads, and they're pink. Okay, so this is what they are. They're $5.99. You can get these at Hobby Lobby. They also have other colors as well. For these needles right here, you can get a pack of them. They're just like regular sewing needles. You can get these at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, anywhere that sells needles. The next thing you're going to need is some thread. And I have this thread right here. This is actually a Coats and Clark thread, so it's really thick and will not break. You can find this at Joann's to Walmart, Hobby Lobby, all over the place. And then the next thing you're going to need is a button. And you can find packs of these at Walmart. That's one of these buttons that I have right here, and I decided to do pink because our flap is going to be in this black color, and the pink goes really well against the black, so I thought that would be really neat. And you can do a small button to a large button. Don't do it too small. I would say medium to large. The other thing you're also going to need is a crochet hook. And right here I have a 5.5 millimeter. Now this rubbed off, so I had to re-sign it and then put tape over it, so I knew this was a 5.5 millimeter hook. So this is what we're going to be using throughout the whole entire project. The next thing that you're going to be needing is a ghost. Now I'm going to post a link down in the bottom of the description for you to go take a look and actually crochet this cute little ghost. Now if you want to, you do not have to put a face on it. It can just look like this. And then you can put like beads on it for eyes. But you are going to have to crochet this before the video. If you don't want any ghosties, you don't have to put them onto your baggie. And then the next thing you're going to be needing is yarn. So right here I have Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo, and this one is going to be black. Now I do have a big massive thing of this, but you're not going to be using all of this yarn. And then the second piece of yarn you're going to be using is this green yarn, and this is also Red Heart Super Saver, and I believe this one is called Spring Green. This reminded me more of like a zombie color. So those are the tools that you will be needing in order to start your project. Okay, so let's get started. So to start making this baggie, you're going to make a slip knot. So you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook and put it around the loop and grab your 5.5 millimeter hook, put it through the hole and grab your strings and pull. And move your tail out of the way. Now we're going to start making a foundation half double crochet, because this is going to be a half double crochet with back loops only. So you're going to chain 2, wrap your yarn around your hook, and chain 1, and then chain 2. Okay? And then you're going to put your, you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, put your hook back into the very first loop that we made under the 2 bars, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, pull through the first loop and pull up a loop. Wrap your yarn around your hook and pull through the last 3. And that just made a chain and a half double crochet. Now you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, put it back under those 2 loops, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Grab your working yarn, pull through the first loop and pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through the last 3. That is how you do a half double crochet foundation. And so what we're going to do is you're going to do 14 of those half double crochet foundation half double crochets. 14 of these. So yarn over, back under those 2 loops, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn, pull through the first one, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through all 3. So you will be working on the bottom as you're making these, and when we're done we're going to be working on the top. So I'm going to do 14 of these foundation half double crochets and I'll be right back with you. Alrighty, so I'm back and there's my 14 foundation single crochet. So now you're just going to flip it over so we can work on the top. You're going to kind of turn it a little so you can chain 1 and then turn it back. Now we're going to be working on the back loops only on this crochet baggie. So instead of going into the front loop right here like you normally would do and then go under both loops, you're actually going to go into the back loop right here, and you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the back loop, pull up a loop, wrap your yarn around your hook and go through all 3 back into that same stitch. And all you're going to do is you're going to do this all the way to the end of your row. And as you saw in the very beginning of this video, you're going to see this really neat ridge effect going on with your work. So you're just going to flip your work towards you, find that back loop right here, and go right into that stitch and then pull up a loop. And then grab your working yarn and you're going to pull through all 3. And you're just going to do that until you're going to do that all the way to the end. And so I'll meet right back up with you when you get to the end. Okay, so I made it to the end. I am 2 stitches before the very end. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to back loop, half double crochet into those last 2 stitches. And one more. And then I'm at the very end. And it's kind of strange, so it's kind of looking like a waterfall is what I always like to call it. So I like to twist this towards me so that way I can actually see where my very last stitch is, and it's right back here. So I'm going to go right into that stitch, pull up a loop, grab my working yarn, and pull through all 3. And this is how you do the half double crochet back loops only, and as you can see, it's starting to form this really neat ridge. And when you turn it around, it looks like it's kind of wanting to fold over. And so we're going to make our crochet baggie using only this stitch. And so all you're going to do is repeat row number 2 over and over and over again. So all you're going to do is you're going to chain 1, turn your work, wrap your yarn around your hook, find that back loop, put your crochet under that 1 loop, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and pull through all 3. Now I ended up doing 18 rows in total for the back loop half double crochet. I am going to do my 18 rows and then I will be back with you, and we are going to switch colors to our black yarn, and I'm going to show you how to do the flap that you saw on the very beginning. Okay, so I will be back. Okay, so I am back, and as you can see, I finished my 18 rows, and we have got this really beautiful ridge going on. And the reason why I chose this beautiful green color is because it reminded me more of Halloween. So I have one more stitch to go, and yes, I did cut it off because we're actually going to be switching to the black. So you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, go back into that back loop, pull up your loop. Now we're not going to finish off the half double crochet just yet, so you're going to pull your yarn through, and then you're going to drop your green and you're going to pick up your black yarn, and then you're going to go through both loops. Now what I just made there was a double crochet, but that is okay. And the reason why we're going to be doing that is because now we're going to be working on the border. So we're now going to be working on the side of our little crochet baggie, Halloween crochet baggie. And we're going to chain 1. And before we go anywhere, a lot of people don't like to do this, but I do. I'm going to take the 2 yarns right here, and I'm actually going to tie them. And don't tie them too tightly, just really lightly. And what this does for me is it gives me a little knot, as you can see here, and it's nice and secure. And now what I can do is I can crochet over that little knot. So let's put our hook back into our loop, hold on to our yarn, and we are going to go right back into this stitch, and we're going to do single crochet. Okay, so you're going to grab a loop, wrap your yarn around your hook and pull through both of them. And we're going to do 3 single crochets right into that same stitch, so that way we can turn our corner. Now we're going to be working down the side of our bag. Now this one is going to be interesting because all you're going to do is you're going to find spaces along the side of your bag as you're working over your yarn, over your tails. You're just going to be going into each of those spaces, as you can see. And you actually do not have to do what I'm doing. So you can just go into any space that you choose, that you feel that you want to go into. Just make sure whatever you do on one side of the bag, that you also do it on the other side. So if you're going to go, let's say I went into this half double crochet and I went into these two big spaces, make sure you do the same thing on this side of your bag as well. So I'm going to do that all the way down. Wherever you feel that you should put your crochet hook into is fine. I think I'm just going to go 2, and then I'm going to go right into this space right here, but instead of going into here because you have one loop, I'm actually going to go underneath and grab a loop. So then that way I have more of a secure. And then let's see here what I did over here. So I went into the half double crochet, and all you're doing is you're working along this side, just single crocheting all the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet along the side of this Halloween bag, and when I get to the end here, I'm going to show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm actually nearing the end, and I have, looks like, one more little spacing right here for the end. So then I'm going to turn my bag, and now I get to work over this little tail. And it's easier when you work over your tails because then you do not have to crochet them or sew them in later. So we're going to go right into this. If you're wondering what I'm going into, I'm going to turn the bag, and you're going to see these stitches on the top. As you can see, these little V stitches, those are the ones that you're going to go into. So we're going to go into the very first one. I'm going to grab my tail, and how you crochet these in is you're just going to hold them onto the top of your stitches. And I can see where my little crochet spacings are. So I'm going to put 3 right into here. So 1. Okay, so then we have 2 single crochets, and then we have 3. Okay, and then since we're working on the bottom of our bag, you can just go right into your spaces. So you can either look on the top and see them, or you can actually look right here and you'll see the little spaces right there. And you can go right in between and just start single crocheting. Now it looks kind of funny because there's a little bar right here. You're going to go on top of that bar to go under both of the stitches. Okay, so I'm just going to single crochet again, and then when I get to the end here, I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm back, and I'm getting close to the edge, and it looks like I have about 3 more stitches. So I'm just going to single crochet these really quickly. 1, 2, and 3. And as I go into this 3rd stitch, we're now going to put 3 single crochets in the corners. So every corner is always going to have 3 single crochets to help you turn the corner. And again, we are now working on the side of our crochet bag. So this is what it looks like so far. As you can see, it's starting to turn out really neat. It's almost starting to remind me like a little zombie, so I thought that was really cool. And the reason why we are doing a border in black is because we're going to be doing the triangle that's going to come down for our flap. So when you fold your beautiful bag over, you're going to have your triangle that's going to come down like this. And that way it will close your beautiful bag. Okay, so now we are going to start doing the other side of this beautiful bag. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a space and I'm just going to start going. And like I said before, all you're going to do is just look for spaces within your crochet bag of where you're going to put your crochet hook, where you think it looks good. And I'm not really going to worry about it, because this one's a little different. Like I said before, on the other side, what you do on one side, you'll do on this side. I'm kind of trying to figure out where those spaces were from the other side, and it doesn't look the same, so I think I'm just going to put spaces and just take a look and see. So it looks like it looks pretty good. I think as long as it looks pretty good to you, you can just leave your single crochets. Now if you don't like something, so let's say for an example, I didn't like this right here, you just pull out your crochet hook and then just start pulling it out. Put your crochet hook back in there and just go, oh, okay, well, this looks a little better. I thought that was a little tighter. And then there you go. And then that's all you have to do. Also, one more thing too. So when we sewed in that cute little tail, or we crocheted in that cute tail, and we crocheted over, if it's still sticking out like this, just take some scissors and cut it off. Okay, so I'm going to finish the side, and when I get here, I'm going to show you how to do that triangle. Alrighty, we are back, and I'm at the other end. So I have a few more spaces before I reach the end, so I'm going to just start crocheting into those wonderful little spaces. Okay, so now we've reached the end, and we are on the very top of our crochet baggie. And again, we're going to go into this top stitch, and the only thing we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 3 times into that stitch, turning the bag as we crochet, just like that. Okay, so I told you we were going to make that wonderful triangle. Well, first thing we have to do is we now have to single crochet across the row to the end, so we can start making rows of that triangle. So all you're going to do is just single crochet into the top of the stitches, going under both of those bars. So now you don't have to worry about where to put your hook. Now you can just see it. Okay, so I'm going to crochet across this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be half double crocheting. So first we did single crochets all the way around the back, and now we're going to be doing half double crochets once we're finished. There's my last stitch. Now we made a chain 1, which is right here. I'm really sorry you can't see it, I know it's black, but on the very top right here is a stitch, and you're going to go right on top of that stitch, put your hook into both of those, grab your working yarn, pull through and pull through, and there we go. We finished the beautiful border of our green baggie. Okay, so now we're going to half double crochet onto the top of the bag, and we're going to make a triangle. So you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. and you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook and go back into that same stitch. And now this time all we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet across the row. And when you make a triangle, what ends up happening is you're going to decrease one row, then just regular crochet across it, decrease one row, half double crochet. So then you can get that triangle that you are wanting. So we're just going to half double crochet, and I'm going to show you how to do a, half double crochet decrease. Okay, so we're nearing the end of our row. There we go. And then I think we're going to do one more into this double crochet right there. So there you go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and it looks like 15. So then that way we had the 14 rows plus the 15, which was the border row. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a half double decrease. And so you're going to chain 1. You're going to turn your work. And this one's going to be a little strange because you're going to wrap your yarn around your hook, go back into that first stitch, grab your working yarn and pull the loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. You're not going to touch any of these because we're going to do it again. Wrap your yarn around your hook, go into the second stitch right here, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Okay, so now you have 5 loops on your hook, so 2, 4, and 5. You're going to yarn over and you're going to go through all 5 of those loops for a decrease. I'm going to yarn over, go back into this stitch, make sure to go under both bars, grab your working yarn, pull the loop, grab your working yarn and pull through all 3 for a half double crochet. We are no longer doing the back loops only like we did for the bag. So all we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet until we get to the end of this baggie, and then we're going to do that decrease again. So what I want you to do is I want to make sure that when you half double crochet, make sure you have those 2 stitches left over. So you have the very last stitch and the stitch before that, because we need to decrease those 2 stitches to make this triangle. So I'm going to half double crochet to the end, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So I decided to do it 4 stitches before the end. So I have 2 stitches I'm going to half double crochet into. So there's 1, and here's 2. And then we have our last 2 stitches. Okay, and we're going to do now a half double crochet decrease like we did before. So you're going to yarn over, go into that first stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. You have 3 stitches on your hook, yarn over, turn your working yarn and go under both bars of that last stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. Now you have 5 stitches on your hook. Grab your working yarn. Now do this slowly so you can get through all 5 stitches, even if you have to go 2 at a time. There's 2, here's 2 more, and then keep going, and there's your last one. And that is your decrease for both sides. Now the next row, we're going to turn our work, chain 1 like I just did. Chain 1, yeah, chain 1. And now we're going to half double crochet back into this stitch right here, not the one back here, because that is your chain 1. We do not want to half double crochet into that, so half double crochet into that stitch, and all you're going to do now is half double crochet to the end of the row. No more decreasing. And so you're going to repeat those 2 rows. A decrease, 1 row, then the next row, half double crocheting, decrease, next row, half double crochet. And what that's going to do is it's going to form the triangle that we are looking for. So I'm going to half double crochet to the end of this row, and I'm going to show you. Well, it looks like I'm getting close, so give me a second. Sorry, my yarn is black and you cannot see it. Now, this looks like you have 2 more stitches. You do not have 2 more stitches. This is your decrease row right here. Looks really funny, but there's a bunch of stitches all bunched up in there. Do not put your hook into this last stitch. This is not a stitch. Put it into this hole right here. Boom, there we go. Okay, so it should look like this one over here, but this one had a chain 1. That's why you have this little loop here. This one is not going to have that because you're not going into that stitch. And if we count, let's take a look. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So let's count the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we decrease. You should have 12 rows, not 13. Okay, so now you're going to chain 1. And you're going to turn. And yeah, that one looks kind of funny. So actually, I am really sorry. I do want you to crochet into that because it does look really looks really funny. I thought that wasn't a stitch. It should be a stitch. So yeah, you're going to crochet 13. So you had 13 on the row below you. You're going to have 13 on the top. I am very sorry about that. So pretty much you had 13 on the decrease row. You're going to have 13 on the top row because we didn't do any decreases. Now we're going to do decreases again. So you're going to chain 1. Turn your work. Let me get my yarn out of the way. And we're going to do that decrease again. So we're going to decrease 2 together. That's what it's called. 2 tog half double crochet is what it's called. So it means 2 together half double crochet. Yarn over, go into the first stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go into the second stitch, pull up a loop. Now you will have 5 stitches. 2, 4, 5. Grab your working yarn this time and pull through all 5. Boom, there we go. Now normally when you do stuff like that, you're going to do a chain 1 like this, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to yarn over and half double crochet until we get to 2 stitches before the end. And so I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to show you how to do that decrease. Okay, so I'm back. We now have 3 stitches before the end. So I'm going to half double crochet into this stitch right here, and then I'm going to start my decrease. Yarn over, go into the first stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. 3 on your hook. Yarn over, go into this last stitch under both bars, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. 5 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all stitches on your loop. Okay, so now you want to count your stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So when you half double crochet now onto the next row, you're going to half double crochet 11. I am going to pull out my crochet hook. We're going to take a look at this real quick because I want to make sure that my triangle is not going to be too big. Because sometimes your triangles are going to be humongous and it could go all the way down here. Now if you like that, that's very fine. I may not like that, so I'm going to take a look at this real quick. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm seeing that it's going to be pretty long, and our bag isn't long enough to have a neat little triangle that goes down here, and then you have your flap. So what we're going to do is we're not going to do a half double crochet row. We're not going to just start decreasing for every row until we get that point that we're looking for. So now you're going to chain one. You are now going to turn your work. So we did it for the first couple of rows down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, go into the first stitch, grab a loop, pull up 3. We are now decreasing more. Yarn over, go back into that second stitch, and then pull up a loop. 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5. We are going to decrease at the beginning. We are now also going to decrease at the end. And you're now going to do that for every row until you get that point that you are looking for. So we're just going to half double crochet until we get to the last 2 stitches at the end of the row. And I move my yarn out of the way. Okay, I'm almost there. I've got 3 stitches coming up, 1 more to half double crochet into, and then I now have 2 more stitches, and I'm going to do my decrease. Yarn over, go into the first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the last stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, grab your yarn over, pull through all 5. Now I told you you're going to want to do this slowly, so you can pull through 2. Do not yarn over and do it again. Just grab that loop and keep pulling through 2. It looks like I got 2, and now I have 1 more. Whoop. And there we go. We're going to decrease again, beginning and end. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get to a triangle point that I'm looking for. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you how many rows I did. Okay, so I'll see you in just a bit. Okay, so I'm back, and I wanted to show you how to finish off your triangle. Now I realized that I did 2 more rows after this, so pretty much we did 6 rows, 7, 8, so I pretty much did 8 rows. Okay, so pretty much what I have left here is 3 stitches. Now here's the thing. You can do one of 2 things. You can fasten off and be done with your triangle and have this little cute thing at the top. And what I mean by that is you can fold this over. I'm going to fold it over the other way because I know this is not the way my bag's going to be, because I don't like the way this looks and I want that on the inside. So I'm going to fold it over to the top, just like this, and then I'm going to fold over this top piece, and as you can see, the little green piece, and then I'm going to take a look. So as you can see at the very top right here, this is where the little bag is going to be, and you can open it up and take a look inside, and you can see that's pretty wide. So this, sorry, I'm messing with it real quick. Everything's in the way. Okay, so you're going to fold it over to where this black piece is going to meet the top black piece. And then I'm just going to take this top black piece right here, and I'm just going to hold it and fold it over while I move my yarn out of the way. And I'm going to hold it up. We are going to actually take a look at it and see how it looks. So if you like where it's at for your bag, because you actually want to see more of the green bottom piece, you can stop there, or like I said, you can keep going and make it a point. Now if you want to keep going, I'm going to show you how to finish off your really neat triangle. Let's move everything out of the way so you can see this. I am sorry it is in black. You do not have to do it in black. You can do it in red. You can do the bag in black, and you can do the border in green. Like I said, I thought that green was really cool. Reminded me of like a zombie green color now that Halloween is coming up. Okay, so you have 3 stitches like I said. We're going to do a half double crochet, just one. Okay, and then we're going to do a decrease. So yarn over, go into the stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, go back into that last stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook, 2, 4, 5. Always make sure, so you know you didn't grab extra. If you have to, grab through 2, keep that loop on your hook, grab through 2, and grab through 2. There you go. Now you have 2 stitches left. Going to chain 1, turn your work, and those last 2 stitches are going to be your decrease. Yarn over, go into the stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, go back into that last stitch, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. Guess what you're going to do? That's right, you're going to pull through all 3 loops. Now we're not just going to leave it like this, so we're going to grab our working yarn and pull through that loop, and then you can fasten off your work, and there is your really cool triangle. Now, as I suggested earlier, when you were down here at the bottom and we made the first round, at the second round you can start decreasing and just keep going and going and going and decreasing until you get the triangle you're looking for. That is another thing you can do. So we're going to move this yarn out of the way and we're going to flap it over. And we're going to take a look and see, what does this look like? How far down is it? So it looks like it didn't go down too far. I think that looks really neat. Now the other thing is too, is we're going to have a little spacing right here. And like the button you saw before, that button is going to go right through that neat little spacing like this. And then you're going to have a button that looks like it's actually on top of, I'm going to call this the witch's hat. Because quite honestly, if you turn it around and you put the button up there, it kind of looks like, excuse me, move my fingers out of the way, yeah, it looks like a witch's hat with a button on the top. I think it looks kind of neat. So that is where we're going to put our button. So I'm actually going to put my finger right through like this, and I'm going to hold it right there. I'm actually going to put my hook right through here real quick, because this is where I'm going to want to put my button, right there. Boom. So then you know where your button is. Another thing you can do is you can also take like a needle. If you don't have, excuse me, a stitch marker, pull it out real quick. I just put your needle right there, okay? So you know that it's going to go between those 2 stitches until you can get yourself a stitch marker. Now, because I did just make this beautiful triangle, I am going to fasten it off here and I'm going to leave it. I think it looks really good. You can also make it look a little flatter as well, like I showed you. So if you like the flatness like we did just before I showed you how to finish off the triangle, you can leave that too. So there you go. Now the other thing you can also do is you can put a green border on this. I do not want to put a green border on it because I want the bag portion to be green, and then I wanted the black portion to look more like a witch's hat. So it looks more Halloweenish is what it looks more like, and I liked it much better because when you flap it over you have yourself a little witch's hat. Okay, I'm rambling on, excuse me. So we're going to just fasten this off real quick. So let's grab our little scissors, give it a little snip, pull your yarn through, and yes, you will need a yarn needle for this one. And so you're just going to sew your little tails right into your top piece. And this little hole right here is where I am actually going to put my button. So I'm going to take a needle and I'm going to put it, excuse me, right there. And there we go. So the next portion we are going to do, now that we have our stitch marker right here where our buttonhole is, and our stitch marker right here where we're actually going to put the button, we are actually going to grab our needles and our thread. This is really short, I have more, so I'm going to grab my needles and my thread. I'm going to teach you how to sew on a button in the next portion of this video. Okay, so I'm going to go get that stuff ready, and then I'll be back and show you what to do next.